Here in Davos, at the 56th World Economic Forum annual meeting, the talk of artificial intelligence and the wider competition to control it is everywhere. It seems an obsession of the moment. My guest today, however, believes that at a time when the world is fixated on this notion, a profound transformation is happening elsewhere, and that artificial intelligence is already the old news, and that it is already outdated in comparison to the disruptive power of quantum computing. My guest today is Niccolo De Masi, President and CEO of the IONQI quantum computing platform. And today my first and fundamental question to him will be about why he believes that quantum leap will change power, might and technology in ways that we are only beginning to grasp. Mr. De Masi, what a great privilege to join you here in Davos.
Pleasure to be here, and you've said it well, for sure. I think we've had the era of the CPU, when Intel was, king in the 90s. We've had the era of the GPU, where NVIDIA was and remains, the largest company, I think, in the tech world, certainly. But the quantum processing unit is coming next, and quantum technologies are going to define actually everything that happens for security, communications, sensing, computing, for the coming decade and decades. It's actually the end point of the computing revolution that started 80 years ago when Shockley built that first transistor in the 40s.
I quite often said that here in Davos, which widely described as the altar of global economic discourse, the convergence of geoeconomic geopolitics, some very new, innovative ideas are being tested. What is your major takeaway from what you have seen so far, and what's your major expectation in relation to a particular field of yours, of course, naturally?
What I'm noticing, which is a correct concern, is that sovereign nations, Fortune 100 companies, and governments around the world are recognizing that quantum computing and quantum technologies are coming sooner than everyone anticipated and expected even a year ago. IONQI is proud of the fact that we've driven that acceleration. So we are the biggest quantum company in history by any measure: revenue, market cap, PhDs, balance sheet. And we're the first full quantum platform company. So we are leading the quantum computing revolution. We're also leading the quantum networking, quantum sensing, and quantum security divisions of not just our company, but of the world's focus on quantum technologies. And we recognize here that leaders know that they're behind in their investment curve for quantum security in particular. There is a geopolitical race underway to see who cracks encryption first, who builds what's called full fault-tolerant quantum computers. We believe IONQI will be first. We have the world's most advanced roadmap and also the world's most cost-accessible, affordable roadmap. So we're very focused on commercializing quantum technologies and being that mass market NVIDIA of the quantum computing space. But we also want to be the Cisco of the quantum networking and quantum security space. And the reality is, if people don't start investing much more aggressively in quantum security, they're going to be wrong-footed as quantum computers become more powerful. We believe we'll achieve this in this administration, which is light years ahead of where we were a year ago.
Well, tomorrow President Donald Trump will be here and he will deliver his speech. Many people talk about the speech delivered by J.D. Vance last year in February at the Munich Security Conference. In terms of what you're doing, in terms of your particular field, to what extent all of those elements related to your activity happens to be in line with America First policy pursued by this administration?
Well, look, we consider ourselves deeply aligned with the Trump administration. There's clarity around realpolitik, I think, on a global basis here, as has been said by a number of secretaries, including Secretary Lutnick. It's America first doesn't mean America only. And we see the world the same way, which is, look, it's important that the U.S. Prevails in the quantum space race, which is very much the Manhattan Project, if you will, of our era. At the same time, the Five Eyes and allies of the U.S. are very much part of ensuring that dominance, prevalence, and victory. I think that there's a race, primarily geopolitically against China when it comes to AI and quantum technologies. And our job is to make sure that just as we've led every other stage of every other key technology revolution in the past century, particularly in computing, that the next century is dominated, controlled, and standards are set by by the US once again. So I think that you'll see echoes of that probably tomorrow. I think that you will see continued focus from the Trump administration, rightly so, from Trump 1 to Trump 2, on the importance of AI and quantum. And they've been a fantastic partner of ours since I took over as CEO about a year ago, having previously been on the board, and I expect that the next 3 years are going to see an increase in the intensity of partnership from this administration to ensure that we win this space race.
And where do you see Europe in all of this battle? Everybody talks about US, which is the leading actor, China, key competitor. What about Europe? Is there skepticism shown and expressed by this administration about European civilization losing its fundamental, essential qualities is also seen in this particular debate as well?
Well, in this debate, look, we're a global company. So we're the world's biggest quantum company, world's first quantum platform company. We have actually 30 offices, 15 major offices, and something like 1,400 employees, growing rapidly. We were only 400 people a year ago, so we tripled in a year. When I think about the comments I've heard here, I've seen an understanding from European leaders of the importance of quantum security, post-quantum cryptography, quantum key distribution on the ground, up into the heavens, space to space and space back to ground. China's been a big investor in those technologies as well the last 5 years. The US and Europe need to not just catch up, but prevail there. And so I think there's incredible talent in Europe. There's also a good number of aerospace companies and quantum companies that we have either acquired or partnered with. And so, less than 7 months ago, we bought a business called Oxford Ionics in the UK. That deal didn't actually close until September, regulatory approval. But it's a good sign of what can be achieved to make 1 + 1 = 30, as I always say. So great minds and great architecture in the UK, existing advantages from IONQI in the US, coming together to move things, as I put it, to the left on the roadmap, make things happen sooner than anyone thought was possible just a year ago. And we will continue with that philosophy. So where we see great talent, great IP, great technologies, where we see that we can be not just a strong global player, but a strong local player, we want to make sure that we are advancing our standards and our ecosystem, because at the end of the day, technology roadmaps win initially, ecosystems are what win long-term and create not just the $100 billion market cap companies, but the $1 trillion of value you've seen from the world's biggest tech companies. That's very much IONQ's ambition.
Thank you very much indeed, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.